Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. Miss Coffee here, and today we're doing a whip and chat. Whip stands for work in progress. So get out whatever that is for you. Work along with me as I tell you some stories. You guys, from the coffee house shenanigans. Now, I hope everybody had a wonderful weekend. I hope the beginning of your week has gone well. Here at the coffee house, things have been a little crazy as usual. So you guys buckle up. We are going to go over a few announcements and then we'll get into the stories, okay? Now, on Friday in live, I announced that starting June 1st, all live streaming that I do will be transferred over to Twitch. And surprisingly, I didn't get any like hoopla over my decision, and I want to say thank you and I appreciate that. And the fact that at least I didn't see anybody say anything like, you know, why are you doing this or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because usually there's going to be a few people that are unhappy about this decision. People don't know what Twitch is, which Twitch is just another streaming platform. They just make it a little bit more interactive for the folks that are watching. Quite a few of you have already come over, and you actually prefer those lives over my YouTube lives. I believe what's going to happen is T-Maw is going to jump up into my slot. So Friday nights won't be quiet here, of course, on YouTube, because there's like, I don't know, somebody said like 6 other creatives that go live around the same time that I do on Friday nights. So for those folks who don't want to come over to Twitch, there are, of course, other people you can watch, which I'm sure you already know this. For those who do, yeah, we'll be over on Twitch starting June 1st. And because of the fact, after talking it over with Mr. Coffee, yes, I know the drills are mixed. We remember, if you watched the beginning when I first started this, you would have saw me mix them. It was a whole thing. But I know that the darker color is the one I'm going after for this, so we might have to single place this. Anyways, because there was no hoopla over the fact that I decided to take my live streams over to Twitch. Originally, I said my live streams and my whipping chats. I think what I'm going to do is, I don't want to take all the things away from YouTube land, because I know there's quite a few people that do enjoy the whipping chats. And for me, sometimes they can be a little bit inconvenient, just because I have other things that I have to do that day. Life is getting busier. The kids are about to be out for summer, so it's harder to sit down for an hour and record a video versus just do a live stream where, you know, you guys can hear the kids in the background. And I know most of y'all don't care, but there are still some people that are like, you know, finicky about the noise in the background of videos and stuff. And I like to make sure that my whipping chats are as quiet in the background as possible, minus, of course, the dogs. So I think what I'm going to do, because I got such a roaring, like, response to me going over to Twitch for my Friday night lives from now on, starting June 1st. So you still have like 2 or 3 weeks with me here on YouTube doing live streaming before I jump over to Twitch to do live streaming. And because I'm doing live streaming over there, that doesn't mean that I'm giving up my YouTube channel. That doesn't mean I'm quitting YouTube. So for all those folks that were in the hopes that Miss Coffee was done, nah, you ain't seen the last of me, homie. I'm still going to stay over here. I'll still be doing unboxings, tutorials, stuff like that. I'm going to be updating a lot of my tutorials. If there is a tutorial that I have done that you would like updated specifically, let me know down in the comment section, and I will go ahead and get those up first in queue. Now, I don't think I'm going to take my whipping chats away completely. I think I'm just going to take breaks when needed. Usually I feel super guilty whenever I don't put up a whipping chat or if something's happening where I can't get one up. So I think what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to put them up when I can. As long as there's not like a massive amount of things. Like right now I have like 4 drawings I need to do for my release paper stuff with Crafts with Crashly. And, if you don't know what release paper is, it is this, what you're seeing here on the table. It's this paper you're seeing here. So the design you're seeing on this paper is a design that I came up with. And I partnered with Crafts with Crashly to start making some designs for release papers for her. And so I have like 4 of those little designs I need to make today. And because of this, it's hard because I have to spend the first half of my morning recording and then editing and uploading and all that fun jazz. And it just makes it a little bit more difficult to do because Tuesdays are like my one day off of Twitch. So I think we're not going to get rid of the whipping chats. I think we're just going to take a break. I don't take breaks often from YouTube because it makes your numbers plummet. Like the moment that you take off a day that you're normally scheduled, you immediately, like, YouTube algorithm is like cutthroat. Like, if it feels that way anyways. Like whenever I don't put up a video on a day that I normally would, it almost feels like YouTube like kind of starts to kick you out of the algorithm a little bit, which if you don't know what that means, and you've heard creatives say that before, it's when they push your videos. And if you're on it, they like consistency. So for anybody who's looking to start a YouTube channel, maybe I should do one of those videos. By one of those videos, I mean like a, you know, what tips does Miss Coffee have for being a YouTube creative, or even a Twitch creative for that matter? Because I know a lot of folks have been considering coming over to Twitch and becoming content creators over there. So maybe I will do like 2 separate videos. Cause I'm not gonna do like I'm not gonna do YouTube and Twitch in the same video. No, I'm gonna do a problem separate if that's something that you guys might be interested in. But when it comes to YouTube, their algorithm, if you don't stay on your schedule, they will kick you out of pushing your videos, and your videos don't get pushed as much. And so the last time that I took a week off, it took me 2 years to get back into the algorithm. People had stopped seeing my videos when they popped up. They no longer were being recommended my videos. And that's what the algorithm is made for. It is made to push the videos that have consistency. And the problem with that is that I'm not a robot. I have a life. I have kids. I have a husband. I have pets. I have things that I like to do outside of YouTube land. So I can't, like, and that's part of where the burnout for YouTube comes in at, is YouTube wants you to be a robot. They want you to constantly upload. They're wanting you to constantly interact. They're wanting you to constantly do and be on their platform, and that's not something that I can do. I've dedicated a lot of my life to my videos, and I take pride in my videos, but I can't be a robot. Like, I got stuff I want to do and have to do, and I can't just not do it because YouTube has decided that if I don't put up a video on a Monday, that they don't want me on the algorithm anymore or something. So anyways, that's enough. Like that's YouTube jargon and mumbo jumbo. But for the most part, essentially what I was trying to say was, I don't think I'm going to get rid of the whipping chats. I think I'm just going to do them as I can, which I think will make them a little bit more special. And of course, if you are over on Twitch, you'll hear me talking about like the kids and family and stuff anyways. Somebody had asked yesterday, where are the whipping chats on Twitch? The whipping chats are the replays. The one good thing about Twitch is you can still re-watch the VODs, or that's what they call them over on Twitch. You just can't comment, which takes a lot of pressure off a lot of folks who like to lurk and don't necessarily want to comment. You don't have to comment, because over on Twitch, there's no commenting section. Unless you're watching that video live, you don't have to comment, which is great, again, for those folks who like to lurk and watch. You can lurk and watch. You don't have to like anything. You can just watch it, you know, carefree, like a video, like a TV show. So that's another aspect about Twitch that I do like, is that you don't have to necessarily worry about a comment section because you're just watching a live stream back. So yeah, so there's that. And like I said, I was talking to Mr. Coffee about this, and I was like, you know, in a way I'm going to miss my whipping chats. And he goes, well, you don't necessarily have to get rid of them. You could just, you know, take a break. A lot's been happening over the last couple of months with like Twitch and everything, and I want to really get established over there. Not that I'm not already established over there. It's kind of hard to say that, as you know, we just hit partner over there, but I'm still finding my sea legs for Twitch. I'm still meeting a lot of new creatives over on Twitch, and where I don't need to necessarily know everybody in the crafting community, I'd like to have an idea and make new friends over in the crafting community on Twitch, because apparently where it's not very big, there is a section of Twitch that is crafting. So other diamond painters, scrapbookers, crocheters, knitters, there's a little bit of something for everyone over there. So I want to at least get my foot in there and start meeting and getting to know a lot of the makers and crafters, which is what they're called over on Twitch. They're makers and crafters. And that's a blanket like category for anybody who does any type of like crafting in general. So yeah, I think I'm just June 1st. I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna take a break and maybe like do a whip and chat whenever I can. Doesn't necessarily have to be every week or every 2 weeks. It could just be whenever I can get to one, and that way it'll be a surprise too. So there's that. But this weekend was actually pretty fun. We got Mr. Coffee to come up on Twitch stream with me. He'll come back up again another time, because we ended up getting cut off because of the storm that we had come through. I don't know about anybody else, but Mother Nature has been on a rampage here for the last couple of days. We've been getting a lot of rain, and I can't tell you how excited that makes me, because I freaking love rain. How many folks out here sleeping in the rain? Yeah, I see you. I see you. I freaking love rain. And if you're like me, which write that down in the comment section, first video or question of the video. Do you like the sound of rain when you're going to sleep? I know I will wake up with a face full of drool if it's raining outside, okay? You can't tell me otherwise. I love the rain. And so it's been raining here the past couple of days, and on Saturday when we had Mr. Coffee up on stream with me, it started to get really dark outside. Which is weird because I thought it was going to rain because it had gotten so dark outside. It never rained. Our power did flicker off and on for a while. Like it went out, I think it went out for like 10 minutes and then came back on and then spent the rest of the evening flickering. And of course that was flickering and messing with our internet. And so I ended up having to cut stream short on Saturday because I couldn't get back on. And when I could, I was like, I don't want to get back on like hours later, so I'm like, we'll do it again another day. So we ended up doing 2 streams on Sunday. So I don't know what little bug I've caught, but apparently I've gotten my crochet bug back. So we've been crocheting a little foxy lovey over on Twitch, on top of diamond painting, on top of playing games like The Sims. I play a lot of, I want to start playing a little bit more cozy games. So I'm going to go take and research some cozy games that I can play for over on Twitch, and we're going to do some cozy streams. We're also going to, possibly be planning some movie nights over in the Discord and stuff. So I have lots of plans of things that I would like to do. It's just executing them. So, yeah. But I think taking a break from YouTube for a little bit. And when I say taking a break, you'll probably have all your videos pre-recorded, minus the whip and chat probably won't be there. On the days that I don't have a whip and chat, for those folks who absolutely do not want to come over to Twitch, again, completely understandable. You will get a replay over here on YouTube. So we keep doing like series when it comes to like crocheting. So I'm going to be doing like little crochet segments. So like every time we go live, when we're crocheting, we'll crochet something, and if we don't get finished with it, you'll get the live streams here on Twitch as a replay. So I feel like that's a pretty good compromise. Don't mind that. That was my vape brick falling. But I feel like that's a very good compromise for not doing the live streams over here. I just want to create a better experience for you guys. I want you guys to really, really enjoy the live streaming experience, and where I can't go as long as I would like to go like stream here on YouTube. So back when I first started going live on YouTube, you had to pick a slot so that you weren't going live on top of people. And if you did, people would complain, that you were going live on top of them, you were stealing viewers and stuff like that. So that's the reason why I can't go really any longer, is because I'm still in that mindset that if I do, somebody will fuss that I'm taking too long, or I'm not streaming when I'm supposed to be streaming, and that's not my time slot. That's not something I have to worry about over on Twitch. So we'll end up starting a little bit earlier and diamond painting a little bit later. And then the end of the stream will be like a cozy game or something, or community game night or something. But either way, I won't have to switch platforms just to do the things that I want to do now, because I can do my long form content, which is like my whip and chats, my What You Got Wednesdays, my unboxings and stuff. I can do those over here. But then my live streams I can keep over on Twitch. And I think if that's okay with you guys, it's okay with me. And so we're going to make that little bit of a deal that I will keep the whip and chats if you guys are okay with me just taking the live streams over. But I just won't be able to do them every week like clockwork. They will still be on Tuesdays when I can do them. And of course, if you're on Patreon, you will know if I'll have a Whip a Chat that week or not. I'm not getting rid of my Patreon or anything like that. I do have a Patreon. The Patreon is going to be linked to my Discord, and we're going to start doing stuff in there on the Discord. I'm also going to be integrating my Patreon to Twitch. So because I'm not doing as many videos over here on YouTube, my Patreons, most of them still get their perks because it's like, oh boy. So it's like the vlog. Sorry, my brain just shut off. It's like the vlog and stuff, right? So they still get that, but one of my tiers has the perk of having their name at the end of my videos. And since I won't be doing I'll be doing the same amount of videos, just no live stream, which they didn't get their name at the end of the live streams anyways. What I'm going to do is I'm going to find a way to integrate my Patreon to my Twitch, and their names will also not only scroll here on YouTube whenever I put up content, it will also scroll over on Twitch as well. So yeah, so there's that. And then if they are a Twitch creative, I will probably have some kind of purple little something or a check mark next to their name so that you know that that's somebody you can check out. And I'm gonna try to find a scroll for it for Twitch, because you can buy these scrolls that off Etsy or something. It's like a little program that you would attach to your Twitch streaming software, and it will scroll the names of your Patreons. So I'm probably gonna do something like that just so that they still get their perk. Now here on the channel, you guys can still use those emotes and stuff for the memberships, and we'll probably start doing something special for the channel members since there's no live streaming over here. But I gotta figure that out. I gotta figure out what that is just yet. So that's gonna take some time, because there's just like you can already tell, there's a lot going on in my head right now, and we've had a lot going on here at the house. So let's do some updating. The ferrets are doing well. They're still crackheads. So the other night we decided, after I had finished streaming on, what was that, Saturday, we had a nice dinner. We played a game of Skippo or two with the kids. Then Mr. Coffee ran off and played chess with Orion, and I came and played, what is it, Unstoppable Unicorns, I believe is the name of the game, with Maggie. So just so the kids got some alone time with each of us. And by the time we finished that, the kids were ready to go off and do their own thing. So me and Mr. Coffee just kind of sat here, and I was like, why don't we get the ferrets out of their cage? And he's like, all right. Well, Mr. Coffee's been having some issues with his stomach lately, and we're trying to figure out exactly what this is going on now, because, you know, why is your stomach bothering you? Now, he first started talking about it last week. He was saying about how the center of his stomach was bothering him. And not the center of his stomach, like right up by his sternum. And he was saying about how it bothers him. And I was like, well, what about it is bothering you? And he was like, I don't know, it just hurts. It feels like I have gas or something. And I'm like, why does this sound familiar? So he was like, you know, but I'll be fine, blah, blah, blah. Mr. Coffee loves playing things off like it's nothing, because, you know, he's a guy. And so he went through the rest of the week having a lot of stomach pain. And then we called, of course, Pawpaw, because we got to call our resident Pawpaw for medical advice. So we call Pawpaw, and I'm like, Pawpaw, your son-in-law is having some issues with his stomach. And he's like, tell him to lean forward to the right and drink a soda. And I'm like, what? He does that, and Mr. Coffee spends 30 minutes burping. And he goes, oh my God, that feels so good. I'm like, oh, does it feel better? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, Pawpaw, is that his gallbladder? And he's like, that's where your gallbladder is. And I was like, mm-hmm. And Mr. Coffee's like, don't start your shit. I'm like, mm-hmm. I have been telling Mr. Coffee that it sounded familiar because it sounded like what I went through when I was pregnant with Maggie. So when I was pregnant with Maggie, I had gallstones. And I had to stop eating fried foods, and like, I didn't drink coffee at that time. But I had to start drinking like barbecue sauce and spaghetti sauces and stuff like that. I could not eat them because it would upset my gallstones. So, which is funny because a friend of mine was pregnant at the same time as me, and she ended up having to get her gallbladder out. She had never had an issue before, ended up having to have emergency gallbladder surgery while she was pregnant, and she blamed me for it because I had gallstones and she didn't. Now, she was due 3 months before I was, so her daughter's 3 months older than Maggie, but she had to have her gallbladder out. So when I had mine's out, she like calls me and she's like, haha, how's it feel? And I'm like, you know what? You waited this long for revenge? I've done nothing. So when Mr. Coffee said his stomach was hurting, that's the first thing my brain went to is his gallbladder. Well, then he comes in last night and he was saying about how he was in pain all day and he's just been fucking miserable. And I'm like, dude, why don't you go get checked out? He's like, I'm not going to do it right now. And I'm like, what are you going to wait for? An emergency situation? Why is it men have to act like children when it comes to going to the doctor? Okay. I have better luck getting these dogs to the vet than I do having Mr. Coffee to the doctor. So I was like, dude, no, don't wait. Go out and get checked out. Get it done and over with now. And by the time you get back, you at least know what's going on with you. Like, you don't have to sit and wonder if it is your gallbladder. Because I don't want him to wake up like I did that one day and all of a sudden you're in immense pain to the point where you can barely walk and then be like, oh yeah, your gallbladder needs taken out too. Let's go. So like, I'm like, you know, just go get checked out. Well, I fussed around with him for probably, I don't know, like 2 hours yesterday before I convinced him to go out to the ER. So I take him out to the ER. He goes, I know how you are. Why don't you go back home? I had left Orion with Maggie because I figured I wouldn't be that long. He just wanted me to drop him off. So I was like, all right. So I went in. Now notice I said drop him off. And then I went in. Yeah, I went in. Made sure he checked in and everything. Made sure they knew exactly what was going on with him. He's like, okay, go ahead and go home back with the kids. I'll be all right. And I'm like, fine. So I come back home with the kids and I sit here like a cartoon character biting my nails waiting to hear from him. Mr. Coffee isn't the best at communicating. So like I kept having to message him and ask him. I'm that wife. I'm the nagging wife that if something happens, I'm going to be calling you. So I'm calling, or not calling him, but I'm texting him and I'm like, did they come in? Did they see you? What'd they say? What is this? What is that? He's like, oh my God, woman, I haven't been seen yet. And I'm like, well, what's taking them so long? So, I'm just making sure I'm putting these on the right symbol because I just noticed that there's some check marks here. So, there's like 3 check marks right here. This is still my Mooney Maid canvas. We're going to be finishing this up soon. And then as soon as we finish this up, I'm not going to start a new kit here. Like, I'm not going to separate the two anymore. Just because I felt like working on my Raven kit this morning. My Ravenclaw kit, which came back into stock. Did y'all get... Y'all... The way DAC out here playing with my emotions. So on Saturday we were live streaming and somebody was like, DAC just did 100 new restocks for their kits. And I was like, oh snap, let's go take a look. Now over on Twitch, we will go what we call Twitch and Shop. Because over there I can show you my screen so that we can shop together and you can get opinions on stuff like in real time if you show it to me like on the stream. So I'm sitting there. And I'm like, oh, well, yeah, let's go check out, you know, the 100 new releases. So I go through and we scroll through and talk about the 100 new releases coming out from DAC. Y'all, after I get off the live stream, I then get a text message that DAC had 100 new restocks. I'm like, you know what? Why am I just now getting this? Now, I'm not sure where the person first saw the post about the 100 new kits being restocked. But they have some pretty good kits on there. I'm not going to lie. Where Fun Never Ends came back. I think it's low stock now, but it came back. Aurora Owl. That JoJo's Arts one from back in the day came back. My Garden Needs Tending came back. I was shocked at a lot of the releases that came back with DAC, and I was like, holy crap, I haven't seen some of these in years, and they brought them back. And of course, as you guys know, they're moving factories right now, so be patient with shipping because it's going to be a little crazy as they get everything settled into the new shop, and they're still trying to do the business while they're moving. I'm not sure if they're completely done with the move. I'm pretty sure they should be done by now, but I could be wrong. What do I know? I don't know a whole lot about, you know, how long it takes them to move and everything, because you got to think they got to move an entire factory across the U.S. over from Jersey to Texas, which is funny because I got a message that I had something shipping from Texas, and I was like, what the hell? Who's sending me something from Texas? And then I realized it was probably them. So be patient with shipping because they are moving their factory. So if your kits don't come in the normal amount of time right now, it's because they're probably still like working out the bugs and everything of moving. So just be patient with them, y'all. I promise they'll have your kits to you. They're not going to take your money or anything. But yeah, so they had their 100 new releases come out, and we went and looked at those. But Mr. Coffee going out to the hospital last night, which, again, as you guys already know, this ADHD's brain's about to be all over the place, so just try to keep up, okay? If you have questions, we have a comment section. Just yeah. So he goes out. I'm waiting for him to message me to see what's going on. I'm getting really, like, vague text messages back, and I'm like, dude, you're pissing me off. You suck at communication. And so when he got home, finally, like 4 hours later, because it took them that long to do all the testing and everything else to make sure it wasn't gallstones and everything else, Mr. Coffee has a really, really bad case of acid reflux. And I was like, hold up. Like what babies get? He's like, adults get it too. And I'm like, okay, what do we do about this? So I told him, like, let me see your paperwork. Because the paperwork, of course, is going to tell me the information that I need. And if I don't understand something, I can call my dad, which I wasn't about to call him at 1 in the morning. But I can at least, ask him questions the next time I talk to him or something. So I'm reading over the paperwork, and it's like, try to avoid these foods. Coffee, tea, with and without caffeine. Barbecue sauce, red sauce. Red meats, steaks. This, that, it's literally listing off my entire freaking grocery list. My grocery list felt attacked, okay? And I was like, dude, this is all the stuff that we eat. What are you supposed to eat? Lettuce? And he's like, I'm just gonna, he said the lady at the office there was telling him, you want to try to avoid these foods or just take a Pepsid AC or something beforehand so it's not causing you any pain. And so I was like, oh, okay. So he has a bad case of acid reflux. And so I'm glad it's not his gallbladder. Apparently everything else seems to be working perfectly fine. But it's not his gallbladder. It was like a really bad case of acid reflux, which does present in a way that looks like a gallstone. So he just has to be very careful what he eats. And, we're getting older. So, like, these bodies don't run like they used to. There we go. Well, if nothing else, you can slide your drills around on the glue, so it's good glue. So yeah, so Mr. Coffee's doing fine. But back to the ferret story. So we take the ferrets out of the cage late that night, and we let them run around, and Mr. Coffee was drinking a Sprite. Now, usually I'm the only person that drinks soda in the house. Mr. Coffee would drink like his tea mix or an energy drink that he has left over from the day from work, which was another thing that they put on the list that he probably should try to avoid. Will he? No, but it's on there. So I'm sitting there, and the ferrets get out, and they're running around doing their thing. Now take it. I've been crocheting a lot more since I started crocheting on Twitch. And so I had a bag of fluff sitting on my floor back here. Now, I always forget what I have back here because when I'm not streaming or something, I'm up front. So I didn't think of it. And so, yeah, here I am minding my own crafty business. And Mr. Coffee starts, like, playing with the ferrets as they're getting out of the cage and everything. And then he comes and sits on the couch and he starts playing his game. I'm not thinking anything of it. We start talking and, having a conversation about, whatever. And so I'm sitting there. Oh, hold on a second. All right, sorry about that. My niece called, and she needed to talk to Auntie Alicia, so I had to talk to my niece quick. But I also had to reverse diamond paint because I realized that I put the wrong color on the wrong symbol. So my apologies. I'm trying to find... Where did my wax go? All right, now we should be all good. So, yeah, I had to talk to my niece real quick. So, anyways, so we let the ferrets out, and they're roaming around doing what they do. And because I don't sit back here all the time, I never remember what I have out back here. And because I've been crocheting a lot more, and I've been working on trying to better my amigurumi skills, which are crocheted stuffed animals, we've been working on one over on Twitch. And I had a bag of fluff sitting back here. So apparently the ferrets had came up with a plan to get Anna Mr. Coffee's soda can. Now, I say this because the way this was calculated, there's no way they didn't come up with a plan before they got out of that cage. So Gumball came back here, and Maggie was playing, and she's like, "Oh no, Mom!" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Gumball got into your fluff." And I'm like, "Got into my what?" She goes, "He got into your fluff." When she says that, I see this ferret bolt through the living room, covered in fluff, omitting fluff all over the house. And I'm like, "Oh God." So I get up to try to catch Gumball, which he doesn't like to be chased. So I get up to try to catch him, and he's like running around like crazy with the fluff all over him. He's covered in fluff. And so we're so focused on him that we're not paying attention to what or where Anna is. Anna takes this time to go, this is my time. This is my time to shine. She then goes over. Oh my God, hold on. Sorry about that. Apparently we have new neighbors moving in across the street, and they're being too loud for Your Highness Daisy. So Gumball's running around like crazy, omitting fluff from my bag of, like, essentially he burrowed himself into the fluff, rolled around for a bit, and then sprawled most of it all over my carpet back here in my craft room, and then started running through the house with it covered all over him. So we're trying to catch him, and Anna goes, "This is my time to shine. This is my time." So she then runs over to the table where Mr. Coffee keeps his drinks. She goes over and turns up the soda can. Now the soda can was almost full because he had just opened it. So it was almost full. So in the process, and she does this every time she gets a hold of one of his cans, which isn't very often because usually he doesn't drink canned things too much, minus his monsters. But by the time he gets those out, she's usually back in the cage. She then proceeds to turn up this can and spill it everywhere. In the light socket, because he has one of those surge protectors by the table there. So in the surge protector, there is... oh, hold up. I got drills on here from my previous color. But in the surge protector there, he had... he has one by the couch there. She got soda all over that, all over his new gaming controller that he got not too long ago. Just all over his table, his papers, and everything. So he jumps up, and he's like, "What the hell?" So I stopped chasing Gumball. And at this point, the reason I say it's calculated, because they both kind of looked at each other, and then both ran back into the cage. And so I'm like, y'all did that crap on purpose. I know you did. So we ended up spending like 20-30 minutes cleaning up this mess, because of course it's soda, so it's sticky, and we had to grab each one of the ferrets because Anna had gotten soda all over her, and then she's going in the cage with Gumball and shaking all that soda that she got all over herself all over Gumball. Then they're both frantically licking themselves because they're covered in soda, and so we had to bathe them that night. If you've never tried to bathe a ferret, look, listen. It's worse than bathing a cat, okay? Because they're small. It's almost like they don't have spines, and they just squirm all over the place. Some ferrets like water. Mines are not those ferrets. Mines are not those ferrets. So I was like, God dang it. So then now, after we get that cleaned up, we have to clean up the ferrets, and they're running around shaking all over the place. They're rolling all over the carpet, and essentially they act like a dog when they get bathed. At least my ferrets do. They're like rolling all over the carpet and like just being crazy. But we got the mess cleaned up. We got them, cleaned up, and at least they got their bath for the year. So you don't want to bathe ferrets too much because it messes with their glands and it makes them stink more. So you don't want to bathe them more than like once or twice a year. So they at least got their bath for the year. So the ferrets are doing good. The dogs. Now, y'all, the dogs are doing fine. This morning we had a little bit of an incident with Killian because we are outside, and in the mornings when I wake up, I take the dogs outside and they go to the bathroom, they make their morning deposits, and then I walk them around for 10 minutes, and then we come back in the house. So they get about 20 to 25 minutes outside to run around and do their thing. And when it's nice out, like it's going to be today, we'll open the front door, let them sit on the porch, let them enjoy the sunshine, let them sunbathe, let them cool off, you know, whatever. So, this morning, one of our neighbors is a high schooler, and she lives in a building like kind of catty corner from the dog park. Well, she gets out of her house, and usually she gets a ride to school, but today's one of those odd occasions, I guess she wanted to walk. So she starts trying to walk to school, and Killian's like, he's not having it. He's not going to let her walk by herself. So he goes over to the gate and looks at her and starts like trying to talk to her. And she comes over and she pets him. She's like, oh, hi, Killian. She's like, hi. I was like, hello. She's, of course, obviously knows the dogs because she's lived over there probably about a year now. So she's petted the dogs before and stuff like that. So she came over and petted the dogs, and Killian didn't understand why because she'll usually come over in the mornings when she does pet them. She'll pet them and then go back to her house because her ride is coming. Well, this morning she just kept walking, and Killian apparently just really didn't like that. So he goes over to the gate, which is broken right now, and he pushes it over and then tries to walk with her. Meanwhile, Daisy is sitting there staring at the wide open gate, looking at me like, is that supposed to do that? Like, Mom, do you see this gate? This gate's open. Like, Daisy didn't leave the gate. Meanwhile, Killian is trying to walk with Lorelai to school. Okay? So, happened to get him, and then he's crying the whole way back because he wants to go to school with Lorelai. And I'm like, you are not a sheep, sir. You are not going to school with her. So, he's not the happiest with me right now. Usually he lays next to me whenever I'm recording and stuff. Not today. He's angry today. So I was like, God dang it. So I was like, all right. I bring them home. I give him a bone. And he's still mad at me. So the dogs are fine. The dogs are fine. Now for the kids. The kids are excited because summer is coming, y'all. May 25th is the last day of school for the kids. And I cannot tell you how excited I am that I don't have to wake up early and take the ass to school anymore, because the struggle is real. I was told as a child that I wouldn't have to wake up early too much anymore when I got to be an adult. The way my stepmama lied to me. Y'all, I hate it here. This waking up early stuff is for the birds. I hate it. I don't even have a regular job that I would need to get up early for. But the fact that I have to get up early every morning to take them to school, I hate it. Now, I could homeschool, but we all remember homeschooling. That did not go well. I am not a good teacher. Not for small children. Apparently, I can teach adult stuff just fine. But when it comes to my kids, no. I suck at it. Anybody else, like any other parents, suck at teaching your kids stuff? That's me. We tried this weekend. One of the things I did with Maggie was I taught her how to tie her shoe. Now, Maggie is 10. Maggie knows how to tie her shoe. But because Maggie wears a lot of shoes that don't have laces, she forgets sometimes. And Maggie has a memory issue. And so we have to sometimes remind her of things that she should know how to do because she literally will forget. Not a big deal. So I was like, all right, Tootsie, we're going to pull a SpongeBob. This is how you tie your shoe. So I'm trying to teach her how to tie a shoe, y'all. Let's just say I have no edges. I have no edges because the way this child infuriates me when I'm trying to teach her things, but she swears she knows more than me, and I'm like, girl, stop it. Stop it right now. Why do you hate my life? Why do you choose violence? What is wrong with you? Why are you this way? How could you? Like, I'm struggling here, y'all. I'm struggling. Not only that, I picked them up from school yesterday. We do the Olympics of the parent pickup line. I picked them up from school. I almost hit a car because this lady didn't give me my turn. She was trying to be greedy and tried to go out in front of me and almost hit my car because I pulled out in front of her because it was my turn to get out of the parking lot. So I was coming from this way and she's coming from this way. The car in front of her moved and she was right up its ass so bad that I couldn't get out. Like, she wasn't trying to let anybody out. And it's supposed to be like, this car takes a turn, then that car, then this car takes a turn, then that car. Well, she was like, no, I'm taking my turn. I'm getting out of here first. So I was like, all right, bet. Now, I'm petty when it comes to stuff like this. And she almost hit my car, and my babies were in there. So I was like, you know what? All right, bet. Now, if you have a brand new car, then you have sensors on your car. Okay? Did you know that if you park too close behind somebody, like when you're driving, it'll make their sensors go off? So what I did was that I got on her ass and I stayed there. The entire way, like halfway home, she was in front of me, and I just, and she, I'm pretty sure she turned down a road that it wasn't even hers, but just to get away from me. So what happens is, on the back of SUVs, they have these little circles. And they just look like little rubber plastic circles. They're not like jetting out of the car or anything. They're just circles. What these are your sensors. So if something's about to hit your car or whatever, it'll set off something in your car to let you know that something's too close to the back of your car. Well, I made it my mission to park close enough to the back of her car that I could see the lights flat, like, and you'll know when the sensor's going off because the little arrows on the mirrors were flashed. So I got close enough to her mirrors, or to the back of her car, without hitting it, to make her stuff keep going off. And so she was getting pissed off. So she just finally she just turned down a road. I'm like, I'm petty. Don't fuck with me. Like, you should have given me my turn. And Orion's like, Mom, why are you so petty? The world made me this way, son. The world made me this way. Look, listen. Normally, I would just fuss to myself about traffic and move on with my day. But she should have gave me my turn. I'm just saying. So my petty move of the week is pulling up close enough to somebody that makes their sensors go off in their car and drives them absolutely insane because you're too close and there's nothing they can do about it. And she wasn't about to get out of the car and say anything. So, like, yeah, there was that. I hate when I have to checkerboard this one section and the rest of it's color blocking. So yeah, so the kids are doing fine. They're excited for school to be out. They're bummed out that we're not going to go see Minna, but Orion understands. Maggie's like, I'll be fine. I'm not going to have a seizure. I'm like, chick, look, listen. Again, this Friday is Maggie's like first day off completely of her medication. She stops taking it on Thursday. Thursday's her last dose. And I think I might give her a dose on Friday just to complete that week, because that's when, you know, she has to complete it. But this Friday is her last dose of it. And then she's done. So starting Saturday, she will no longer be on medication. And so she's excited for this because she hates remembering it. Now watch. This child could never for the life of her remember to take her medicine when she took it for the last 6 years, okay? She will now all of a sudden start wondering and asking where her medicine is. I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Also, it is that time of year. It's not the holiday season. It's the season of the recorder. Now, if you are a parent and your child currently has a recorder, my thoughts and prayers are with you. Oh boy. So Maggie gets in the car the other day and she tells me that she's sad. And I'm like, what's going on, Tootsie? And she's like, nothing. And I'm like, tell mommy what's going on. And she's like telling me how she went to music class and her and a few of the kids in her class had to sit and watch everybody else play with their recorders. And I was like, why didn't you get a recorder? She goes, because they're $7. I'm like, why didn't you ask me for it? She goes, Mom, I did. And I was like, oh shit, did I forget something again? So I was like, oh, well, I'm sorry, Tootsie. Well, tomorrow I will get you a recorder. And she's like, okay. But she was sad because she missed out on a music class because they were working with the recorders. Now, I don't know why they didn't send home a paper asking for the $7 like they just did for a t-shirt. They can send me a paper home about a t-shirt that they want me to purchase for Maggie so that their last day of school they can have t-shirts to wear. But they can't be bothered to send home a paper saying about the recorder. So I was like, okay. So the next morning, I get up, I take her to school, and then I head over to Walmart and I go buy groceries in person. Like a savage. I don't typically go in person just because I hate dealing with like the people in Walmart. That, and it seems like every time I go in, they're still like they're never ending stocking Walmart. And I hate having to move around the boxes and stuff. So, like, I usually will get delivery because apparently I'm bougie and that's what I do. So, the fact that I went into this Walmart, and this is the first time I've been inside of a Walmart in at least 2 or 3 months. I go in, I get my groceries, and with the little bit of stuff that I needed, I get cash back so I can get Maggie's recorder. Well, I get the money. I go back to Maggie's school. I pay for the recorder so she can have it. She comes home, biggest smile on her face. She's like, Mom, look, I have a flute. I'm like, Tootsie, that's not a flute, it's a recorder. It's like a flute. It's kind of like a flute, but it's a recorder. But I want to call it a flute. It's not a flute, it's a recorder. About 10 minutes of me telling her that it's not a flute, she now calls it a flute. So yeah, so she's been playing with her recorder. She's been playing with her recorder and practicing. And she's like, Mom, look, now I can play instruments when you go live. I'm like, great. Give half of my folks PTSD from when their children had recorders. That's wonderful. That's great, Tootsie. I'm sure they will enjoy that. She's like, I'm going to learn how to play Happy Birthday. Oh, that's even better. Yay. Y'all, look, listen. She's doing it. I know she will. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. We all gonna have to suffer if I have to suffer. So Maggie has her recorder, and Orion is being drove nuts by the recorder because, of course, he can hear her playing it. Now, when she's playing it, she's usually upstairs during the day because she can't play it at night. And so he can hear her from his room, and he's like, Mom, please. I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. The number you've dialed is no longer in service. And he's like, Mom! I'm like, I'm sorry, sir. Error code 404. And he's like, Mom, you are not an operating system. You're not a computer. Please get her to stop. And I'm like, Maggie, please chill out for the night. You're driving everybody crazy. So Orion is doing fine. He's also excited for school to be over. Geez, the way I just threw that. He's excited for school to be over. He's excited to be able to go out and play with his friends. He has made a couple of new friends here. Outside. Yeah, you heard right. Outside. My son gets in the car yesterday, goes, look, Mommy, I'm darker. That's because you've been going outside, sir. That's what happens when you go outside. And he's like, really? I'm like, yes. Y'all, Orion's about almost the same color as Maggie now from the fact that he's been going outside a lot more. So he's been going outside and playing with some kids that he found that go to his school. And so I've been enjoying that part of it because part of me enjoys it. The other part of me is scared to death because they'll go up the street to their friend's house and I can't see them from our house. And of course, Mama Paranoid Brain over here is just like, where are my babies? Oh my God, they're growing up so fast. Like, I can't expect them to play on the porch forever, I guess. But it's still scary when your children aren't home and they're playing somewhere and you're just like, I know they're okay, but I also need to see them to make sure that they're okay. So, he's been, like, riding bikes with his friends and actually being nice to Maggie and letting her come and join them sometimes. Maggie has her own friends that she's been hanging out with, but then they had a little incident on Saturday. Saturday, Maggie comes in and she's, like, bawling. And I'm like, what is wrong? What happened? I'm thinking she fell, she hurt herself, something. I'm looking at all her limbs. They all look fine. Nothing looks bleeding. And she tells me that there's these little boys at the playground messing with her. They were picking on her and calling her names. And Orion's like, yeah, she was over there playing and they're like trying to throw the swing at her and all this. And I was like, oh, hell no. No. So I go over to the playground, full mama mode. Got my hair cap on. Got my beat up t-shirt, my sweatpants, my slippers. I walk straight over to the playground and I go, oh, so y'all, which one of y'all messing with my kids? They all get real quiet. And then the one little boy tries to pretend like he can't hear me. So I was like, okay, let me help you hear me a little bit better. So I go turn around, I like get right in front of him and I'm like, I bet you can hear me now, can't you? I'm like, you wanna call my daughter names and flip her off? So I flipped him off, and I'm like, don't feel good, does it? And I was like, let me just tell you this. These my kids, okay? I don't know where your mama and daddy is, but these ones mine. You mess with mine, I'll mess with you. And you can go tell your mama and daddy that and have them come over here. And if they want to have a conversation, let's freaking go. Because I will have you over here watching me beat your parents down. Because you're not going to be messing with my kids. Oh, well, I wasn't messing with her. Oh, you weren't? And then there was a parent couple that was there playing with one of their kids. Their kid looked like it could have been like 2 or 3. This couple was over there watching this whole situation. And the little boy's like, she hit me. My daughter did not hit you. She's not going to hit you for no reason. And I'm sorry to tell you, but you're a lying sack of shit. You also over here suffering from diabetes. Now, his little siblings or brother and sister or whatever are just sitting there. And I'm like, let me just tell y'all this right now. Y'all don't even live here. Y'all live way over there. And we pay for this to be over here for us, for our families. Okay? So you can either take your little tail back home, or you can actually be out here playing nicely. But what you're not about to do is keep tearing up this playground equipment. Because they're over there throwing rocks. They're over there poking holes in the slide. They're over there putting the swings up so no other kids can get on them. So I go over and untangle all the swings. You know how kids like to throw the swings so that they wrap around the pole? That's what they had done. So I unwrap all the swings and everything. And I tell them to go home and get out of the playground because I'm like, you're not about to be over here messing with my kids. Well, the couple that's sitting there is like, yeah, I saw that. And I'm like, yeah, you saw them say and do whatever they did to my kid, but said nothing. You said nothing. How old's your kid? And she's like, oh, he's 2. Oh, he's 2? Bring him back in 3 years and let the other kids in the neighborhood pick on him. And then when you come over here because he's crying and you're going to try to talk to the kids that are over here picking on him, I'm just going to look at you and go, I saw what happened. I just did nothing. I'm like, you saw them over here cussing out my kid and flipping her off and trying to hit her with swings and throwing mulch at her to the point where she has mulch in her hair, and you said nothing. As a parent, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself that you watched somebody get bullied and said nothing. Well, I didn't want to get involved. You know what? I'm so sick and tired of hearing about people not wanting to get involved. I'm like, you're part of the problem. You're part of the problem and why this exists. You're part of the problem because you are a coward and won't speak up and say something to a child and tell them to knock it off. Well, they're not my kids. Well, when your kid comes over here in the next couple of years and they start getting picked on, I'm just going to look at it and go, sorry, I can't help you. You're not my kid. She just kind of looks at me and scowls. I'm like, you can scowl all you want to, and if you don't live here, you can take your little happy ass home too, because we pay way too much goddamn on money to have my kids not be able to play at this playground. So then this Monday morning, I went and made sure to contact the complex and let them know that these kids that were over here, they were over here last week tearing up stuff and throwing rocks at the cars in the parking lot. And I had to let the complex know that they were over here tearing up stuff. And so this time I let them know that not only were they over here tearing up stuff, but they're over here bullying and cursing out kids and stuff at the playground, making it where it's not fun or safe for anybody to play because of how they're acting. So I'm not sure what the complex did, but I haven't seen the little kids since. But don't sit there and let people, like, don't be, like, if you see something happening, like somebody being bullied or something, stand up. Stop being quiet. Stop with this, I don't want to get involved with the drama crap, because that shit is old. And I'm so tired of hearing it. And people be really out here watching. People would rather record a video to try to go viral online than to help somebody in need. And it's pretty sad that our society has come to this. And the fact that people out here really like trying to be noble, like, oh, well, I don't want to get involved in the drama. If you can't stand up for our children, what are you willing to stand up for? Ask yourself that question. So, if nothing else, after the bad incident, the kids that normally would play at the playground all came back to play at the playground because those little bratty kids were gone, and we haven't seen them since. So there's that. There's a little silver lining to it. But I went off on those kids. I did. I don't feel bad about it. If you're old enough to come over here and be cussing out and flipping off other children that are trying to play at the playground, then you're old enough to get cussed out. So, and I told them, go get your mommy and daddy. Told them exactly where I live. Told them that if they don't like what I had to say to you, bring them to my house. Nope, never saw them. Because, like, this whole, like, bullying stuff, this is how it starts. It starts as something as simple and little as, oh, I'm just going to tease people on the playground, to, oh, next thing you know, we're having all these issues in schools and stuff. So, yeah, no, don't sit and watch another child get bullied or another person be bullied. Stand up and say something. Don't sit quietly because you don't want to be involved in a drama, but you want to hear and give out all the tea about the drama. Like, people get on my nerves with that bull crap. Anyways, so yeah, so that's that. Orion's been going outside a lot more and enjoying, like, touching grass. And so, yeah, so everybody's been doing really good. We haven't talked to Minna yet. Luckily, Minna did not know we were coming, so we don't have to worry about disappointing her by not, being able to show up. And like I said, come hell or high water, I don't care if I have to be out here doing Strange for change. I will be going to her graduation next year. So all the money that we have saved up this time, we're gonna keep saving on it, so that hopefully we can buy plane tickets and a rental car for when we do go next year. Because I would much rather fly than drive anyways, because flying I can get there a lot quicker and I'm not wasting as much time on the road. And with my gallbladder and stuff, I can't afford to be like on the road for that long. Like that, I'm not gonna lie, that part of the road trip scared me, is because anytime I eat food and then get in a car, immediately it upsets my stomach. So I'm like, I'm kind of glad that we decided to not go, because without going on a trip like the plane or something like that, yeah, it just makes for a lot. So let's talk about this D-stash real quick. So I was supposed to do a D-stash at the end of the month. That's not happening. What I'm going to do is the first 2 weeks of June, I would have been gone. I'm going to take those weeks as a break. You'll still get like an unboxing from like Diamond Art Club and stuff, but I'm not going to do a whip and chat or anything for those 2 weeks. You guys will get a Twitch replay for those 2 weeks on Tuesdays. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to be spending that time getting all the stuff ready. I wasn't even close to ready for the D-stash anyways. So I'll be spending that time getting everything ready for the D-stash. And then, well, I need a little tray. Excuse me. I don't want to put this in here, but I'm going to... We're just going to put a couple of these in here so I can do that section. So yeah, so I'm going to take that little bit of time and I'm going to do the D-stash at that point. Just because I'll have time to package and ship everything and get everything out like the next day. I just give you a heads up. Price of shipping is to be paid by the person purchasing the kit. And I don't have a UPS store here, so I will either have to get them to pick it up, or I'll like plan a delivery around that time or something. But I don't think they're going to take that many packages. So I might end up having to just use either FedEx or USPS. I prefer USPS just because I know exactly where they are and how to like get my kits and stuff in there. So like how to ship them out from there. And if I have any issues, they're quick to help. So I would rather use USPS. But yeah, so we will have that happening then. But this weekend is our 12-hour Diamond Palooza. Now, if you haven't heard about Diamond Palooza, over on Twitch, because again, we're live streaming from Twitch, over on Twitch on Saturday, I will be doing a 12-hour live stream where I'm going to be working on a kit for 12 hours to see how much work I can get done on it. Now, for Diamond Palooza, it does not matter what you're working on. You don't have to diamond paint. You can crochet, you can color, you can cross stitch, you can knit, you can... Whatever you would like to do, you can do. You're just going to want to work on... I ask that you work on one... Unless you finish a project and then start another project, I would ask that you start on something... or work on something that you can work on for the entire time. Because then what we're going to do is at the beginning of the stream, I'm going to have you guys take a picture. And I'm also going to take a picture of my kit from the beginning. And then at the end of the stream, we're going to do a whip parade. And in the whip parade, because, again, I can show my screen, you guys are going to throw your pictures up in the Discord. I'm then going to show everybody how much progress you made in that 12 hours, and then we'll call it a wrap. So, 12-hour Diamond Palooza this Saturday over on Twitch. You can find me under Caffeinated Doodler over on Twitch. So, yeah, so there's that. I'll make sure. I forgot a... AB right there. So we're going to grab one of them out of the bag here. So yeah, so Diamond Palooza will be on this Saturday. The Saturday after that, I think we're both supposed to be doing a how to crochet stream on Saturday, after like the Saturday after the 13th. So there is that. But I think that's all the time I have for today, you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here and being so understanding of the situations. There's so much going on right now, and my brain is frazzled. But I appreciate all the love and support that you guys show me and the family. It cannot be told to you enough that how much we appreciate you guys and the love that you've shown the channel and myself. And yeah, so thank you guys so much. We will be carrying on with our regularly scheduled program this week. I know I didn't have a sneak peek last week. It did not get here in time due to them moving. So again, I'm not sure if I'm going to have one this week or not. I want to say that I will, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll just have to see how that goes. You guys will get the very first What You Got Wednesday of the year coming up tomorrow. So if you're watching this video in the future, then the video after this one that's uploaded will be the What You Got Wednesday. So there's that. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you guys for all the love and support. I hope you guys are doing well. Don't forget to take your meds and drink your water. Answer the question. I don't remember what the question was at the beginning of the video. But there's some questions in there. If you remember to pause and answer the questions, feel free to do so. Also, feel free to leave multiple comments, as that is something I also do because I will forget if I don't. So thank you guys again so much for listening. Thank you for being here. Thank you for all the love and support. And with that said, I must now bid you adieu, but not before reminding you that it's hard out here in these crafty streets. Please stay safe, and always remember to be kind to others, because you never know what somebody else is going through. Be courteous because it's the right thing to do, and always stay cool. Bye, guys.